Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Talking Skritt. I'm your host John, better known as Dale around Yakspin, and we have a fantastic show for you. Lunar New Year celebrates the Year of the Rooster, the upcoming community PvP tournament that has been gathering hype, legendary weapon recipe updates, and much more. But first, let me introduce you to my fellow host. He writes over on his blog, agegaming.wordpress.com, where he answers the age-old question, what if ArenaNet is sending us a message by putting the Celestial Mini behind RNG? What if they are trying to tell us that we need to do a better job connecting the dots, and that it all leads back to Abaddon? Say hello to Age.
It's always Abaddon with you. Hi, guys. I have no idea. Maybe. Subliminal messaging, maybe.
They tend to be tricky like that, so you never know. And you love him, and apparently we hate him. Apart from his own stuff over at youtube.com/MMOinks, he has been on Guild Gab, Tea Time, and the new Kit and the Travelers. We tried oh so hard to keep him off this show. Say hello to Inks.
How's it going, everybody? What can I say? I love podcasts. I love discussing the game at length.
And even though on Twitter we've heard, maybe we don't like you, we definitely want you on. It's just we wanted bigger topics. So, but welcome nonetheless. Let us jump into kind of a light news week, but hopefully this is just the calm before the storm. You never know. First up, in this past week, we got the Lunar New Year has arrived on Tuesday, and I believe it's staying around for at least the 2 weeks. I don't know if they mentioned an actual end date for it, but it seems like it's pretty similar to last year's. Like, you have Dragon Ball, the arena, which I know last week a lot of people were excited for, so hopefully you've been jumping into that and destroying other people. For people who don't know, real quick, if you're just starting the game, Dragon Ball was kind of like a fun little PvP event where I think it's 5v5, and you kind of gather skills around the arena and kind of beat the crap out of one another. So it's a fun little mini game, I guess you could say. I'd like to hear your guys' thoughts, since it has stuck to the theme of other festivities where we're not getting much more additional content to it. But yeah, I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts.
Dragon Ball is kind of a mode I think I would enjoy if I could play with friends. I feel like I say this a lot, but I don't know. I played Dragon Ball last year. I'm not playing it this year just because I have to do PvP. But I feel like Dragon Ball is kind of a fun mode. I do enjoy it, but I feel like playing with friends at least would make it a little bit more enjoyable and a lot less frustrating, because sometimes there are those good Dragon Ball players, and you just want to go in for fun. And I feel like playing by yourself, at least for me, playing by myself and getting frustrated is not a fun way to go about it. I have PvP for that, so I don't know. I mean, I lose out on divine lucky envelopes, I think, but I guess I could just try my luck in buying them daily. So,
Yeah, so when the patch launched, which was a pretty big surprise, I think, to most of us, ArenaNet didn't really give any warning. They're just like, hey, today there's a patch. With Lunar New Year, and a lot of people were pretty happy because, after Winter's Day ended, there's not a whole lot to do except waiting for the next patch. But I jumped in there. I went 10-1, so I got my 10 wins pretty quickly. So I got those achievement points, and you can continue to repeat it, of course, to get more tokens. But I'm not getting any AP, so why am I gonna do that more? I mean, don't get me wrong. There's some other achievements in there I haven't finished yet. Like, you need 8,888 health, which is sort of interesting because I think the 88 came from last year. That was like the lucky number that's associated with the Chinese New Year.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think because when you're selling a lot of the stuff off, it's like 8,000 or 8.
Right, like everything was 8s because it was lucky number 8. What's the lucky number this year? Shouldn't it be 9? They didn't really even change that aspect of it. They didn't change the lucky number, I guess. But then again, then you'd have to get 9,999 health, so maybe that's not a good thing. I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. I like Dragon Ball, but just like Age, and you hear this echoed a lot in the community, anytime these team events come in, Winter's Day was sort of the same thing. People just want to play together. They want to play with their friends. They want to play with their guildies. And I realize that there's probably a technological barrier, or at least there probably was at some point, is why they couldn't do this. But you know, it would be great if they could put a little bit of development time into making those games joinable by friends, maybe even hook it up to some sort of leaderboard like Adventures have, so you could see, like, maybe where I don't know how you rank Dragon Ball exactly, but, you know, number of wins versus losses or something versus guildmates and friends or something like that. And so for a lot of people, these events that come, Snowball Mayhem and Dragon Ball, people just want to play together. They want to play with their friends as a team, or maybe even verse them, you know?
Yeah, or even putting on like fun tournaments to like slightly hype up a PvP aspect. I know it's not, before PvP people get on my case, I know it's not like legit PvP, but you know, it's people's foot in the door, hopefully.
Oh, I'm being corrected. The number 8 is just lucky for the culture. I didn't realize that. I thought it was like a per year thing.
Okay.
Otherwise, and then that makes sense. It's always number 8. Okay, so there's my ignorance showing through. But yeah, you know, there's one new decoration for the guild hall, which is a little bit of a shame. There's a new rooster back piece, both rare and ascended, which is
similar to like
nice.
last year's and the year before, which we actually have the picture of it. And thank you to Dolphy.net for grabbing all these items to get them up as quick as possible. So on the left side there, you have the I think it's just the golden rooster, which is, then the right one's the, like, forget the exact actual name. It's like the super lucky golden rooster or something like along those lines. But you get these as a chance. Well, you get the one on the left as a chance out of the divine lucky envelope, or the lucky envelopes and whatnot. But they are tradable, so you can buy them off the trading posts and whatnot. But I believe to get the one on the right, you have to put it into the Mystic Forge, similar to the recipe of last year, which is, I think, like, what is it, 25 Elonian wine? And, like, some other, like...
20 wine, 25 fireworks, 250 blue luck.
Okay, so...
And the basic back piece.
Yeah. So, it sounds like you already went and got it.
Yeah, right away. I was flipping them with whatever luck that I had at that level. Unfortunately, like throughout the year, I mine up most of my luck into the exotic luck, so that it doesn't eat up so much bag space.
Mm-hmm.
I think this year going forward, I'm not going to do that with the blue. I'm going to hide that on another character. Just so that I can flip more of these, because there was quite a bit of profit, probably still is some profit to be made in taking the basic one and Mystic Forging it into the exotic and then reselling it. Because the fireworks cost almost nothing, the Elonian wine is a standard cost, and the backpack was down pretty cheap. When I first bought it, it was like $1.50 or something, and I think I did one yesterday, and it was, I don't know, 90 silver or something like that, maybe even less. So it's fairly cheap to make, and then people are buying the exotic version for 8 or 9 gold. So it costs you like 6 gold in mats maybe, and then there's a little bit of profit to be made there.
Yeah, I would say if it's anything like other events when we were on the 2-week cycle, if this is going to be 2 weeks, it usually was that rotation. Like, you were pretty much good to sell, like, kind of flip the stuff till like after the first weekend. Then probably everybody that was able to play on the weekend gets their envelopes and are able to open it, and price drops. And so, yeah, if you're watching this live or on YouTube, definitely check out the prices. Maybe you'll be able to make some money for some future events and whatnot.
Yeah.
Maybe a legendary.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's nice to hear that, like, you were even saying, like, what we've talked about on previous shows where it's like hopefully they can find a way eventually, if it's a technical issue, maybe they break through it like Sab was, where they can get PvP, these fun PvP events, and allow you to play with your friends. Because I think I use as an example all the time, when they had Sanctum Spring come out, I was like, that would be a great Mario Kart-esque, like, with your friends. And of course, if you've ever gone to university or anything like that, you play a variation of it, and you know, so you could always play that with your friends, and I think it'd be a hilarious moment, falling off the cliff while you're... But,
yeah, I mean, those events in general are just more fun when you're playing with friends and guildies, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's even better when you win.
And remember, every day this is just like last year, every day you can buy, I think, up to 16 envelopes, which are, I think, a gold apiece. And usually, like, I can make my gold back, like, either break even or a little bit ahead. So, if worse comes to worse, I usually have to do my daily, which, if you're doing these events, you can do the Lunar New Year events that count towards the daily, so you can pretty much get your, like, another 2 gold back pretty quickly. So,
yeah.
I mean, if you're trying to get lucky, this is definitely a good chance at it.
For anyone who wants to max their Magic Find, just look up Magic Find on the wiki, and then you'll see a list of all the things of the best way to maximize it. And there's a certain food that says gives you 40% Magic Find when you're under a boost. So I'm like, oh, I'll just hop on Revenant, put on one thing,
just turn it on.
Like, boom, right there, put on everything, and then I just camp out in front of the NPC.
Yeah, and like chat's saying, they're up 30 gold from doing the 16 gold per day. So yeah,
yeah. I take the cheap way out, and I sell them on the trading post, which nets a profit every day. And then I keep the smaller ones. I'll open the smaller ones later. Because I think the other way that I would do it, if I was going to save the envelopes every day, I would save the entire event, or at least a bunch of them, and then I would go to Silver Waste or wherever, and like Age is saying, build up the Magic Find as large as I can get it, and then open them, right? And I just don't want to go through that every day. I'm a bit lazy that way, I guess. So I just put them on the trading post, make a couple of gold.
So what is the Silver Waste addition to Magic Find? Because yeah, chat's also saying go to the PvP lobby for the 200 Magic Find buff. Is it?
Yeah. Call of the Mist buff is on for the season. Yeah. And Silver Waste, the Perseverance buff, I forgot how much it stacks, but it stacks Magic Find. The more you do events, I think.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if one's more, or if they come out to the same. I can't remember
I think the PvP one's more. I'm not sure.
It is.
Yeah, chat's saying Silver Waste is like 50. Oh, okay. And yeah, even chat's having a bunch of good recommendations. Like, don't forget the Guild Hall Magic Find boost. You can definitely crank it up. So hopefully you're in a guild or get in a guild that has those boosts. Apparently go to the PvP lobby. You know, crank up your luck so you can get better rewards.
Is it 30 times 5 though? It stacks up to 5 times. I guess it's 30 times 5. Which is still under the PvP.
Yeah, I was saying.
PvP is 200.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's insane, so...
For some reason, if you can't make it into the PvP lobby, but have a Silver Waste map, which I don't know what realm you're living in, but if that's the case, there's your next best step.
Right, there's the Guild Hall Magic Find boost as well. That's a good one to remember about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Wiki Magic Find, it'll all be there.
Yeah, it'll tell you all the different boosts that you can get.
Yeah. Yeah, if you guys don't know this by now, I think we've said it before, but if you're in game right now, do /wiki space Magic Find, pull up that page instantly. One of the best features of a game ever. So.
Yeah. You can pull it up while just /wiki and look up whatever and type in Magic Find. You can do it right from the game. It'll open a browser for you.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's pretty nice.
Wish more games would have that. So any other thoughts on the Lunar New Year? I mean, we're going to talk about the Blackline chess stuff in the Gemstore
Right.
section, so.
Yeah, I don't know what the current events team is doing exactly. Like, they could be working on other current events. I thought I had heard at one point during Halloween that some of the current event people were working on that, probably rewards and stuff. But I really wish they would sort of have a team that tackles these seasonal events in a way that, I mean, we always get new rewards, which is great. I mean, that keeps people coming back to actually do the events over and over again. But it would be nice if we got one updated event per year that people could jump into and play around with, or another story at Winter's Day, another story at Halloween, or even Halloween-wise, bring back the old stories from like the first Halloween there was, where you get the back piece. And I realize a lot of that stuff is probably broken from changes that were made during Heart of Thorns, from what I understand. But it would be great if something other than just rewards was added, just a little something. Not doesn't have to be earth-shattering or huge, but
Yeah, because I always hear people on the other side of that saying like, well, festival events in any game are always the same thing, which it's like I agree with you on that, but in Guild Wars 1 they're doing exactly what Inks is saying. Like if you look at the Halloween events, they'd always add like another quest chain to continue like the Mad King's story arch, and so I would like to see more. Like, yeah, and I'm not asking for like, oh, I want like 20 hours of gameplay added. But yeah, I would like those like a little. Well, yeah, I would love that too, but I like being a little realistic.
10?
We'll have to contact ArenaNet and try to figure it out.
I'll take 2 hours of gameplay, whatever.
Now that every ANET employee is probably like, all right, let's find that age account and delete it. We'll give more gameplay. Have to make a new character. But yeah, I would like to see some updates, because I think they even said that like originally with festivals it was like, oh, it's something we could easily build upon. So I was like, oh, maybe they're gonna do like what they did in Guild Wars 1, where it was like, oh, continue the story with this breadcrumb, and But unfortunately, we haven't seen that past like the second or third year, at least with Halloween. I think it was the second one when we got the Prince.
Yeah.
Ugh.
I feel like it's just because of the system changes that's been going on. It's been harder to do that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure.
The next festival is going to be Super Adventure Box, so I don't think that we're going to see anything new. As a matter of fact, I think last year they said that don't expect a new world next year because of the development time that it takes for something like that. The only good news with Super Adventure Box is that they created rewards last year that will roll into this year. You can still get more of the Moto weapons and the orange weapons and stuff like that. So, again, new rewards, which is great. Everybody wants new, refreshed rewards, which is fantastic. But Super Adventure Box will probably be the same as last year as well, unfortunately. Would be my guess. Maybe they'll surprise us.
I would love a new boombox. I love those so much.
You want to just stand outside Queen Jenna's window with the boombox over your head, like?
Yeah, exactly.
I troll during guild missions with it. It's so much fun.
Yeah. Where is that noise coming from?
Exactly, it's great. And then
I think what Age is saying, he wants a bard class. All he wants to do is just start playing music for the group.
I would not mind a bard class. I played one in Ragnarok. It was a lot of fun.
But the real question is, how would they handle in PvP, especially tournaments? Speaking of tournaments, we got a fan-made or community-created one. I don't want to say like, but for people that aren't aware of Helseth and Syndrunner, I know Helseth, and I'm not a PvPer, so I'm surprised if he is kind of if you talk about PvP, more than likely you're going to come to these names pretty quickly. But they are actually putting on a PvP tournament. It is going to be Sunday, January 29th at 4 p.m. Central Europe time and 10 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Pacific. Prizes will be funded by the community. I think they said currently right now they have like 10,000 gold, 8,000 gems, and like a couple, like some more things.
Crazy.
Yeah. Interestingly, all players from the World Championships are banned. So it seems like they're really trying to get new blood in there, fresh faces, which I think is awesome. Like, it's just shocking that, you know,
I
it's still
think
shocking to
that,
hear. Go ahead.
yeah, a little bit. I think obviously the reason they did that was to get new players. You'll get a much lower attendance if the player base, if people signing up know that, hey, I'm going to have to face off against, 55 Dragon.
Yeah.
They're just going to be like, forget it, I quit, I forfeit, they win, you know what I mean? Or they just won't sign up at all if they think they have to play against other pro players. If they hear that the pro players are banned from the event, then they're like, hey, I might have a shot at this, and there's tons of prizes, there's tons of gold at stake here, why not give it a go? So on their part, that's pretty smart. I don't know how the other pro players feel about it. They're probably fine. I mean, they have their other events, or they probably should have other events coming up, hopefully soon for them to, make their money and make their gems and all that kind of thing. But
Yeah, and hopefully they see it as kind of like we were saying with opening up those fun events, is it's getting people into the door interested in PvP, which ultimately it's like, okay, I've seen these people play maybe middle tier, maybe close to top tier, but okay, now ArenaNet's doing their, Champions League thing, and these are going to be the top tier. I want to watch these people, so it, feeds into them as well, which, Yeah,
I mean, for any scene like that to stay alive, you need fresh blood constantly, at least trying to break through that barrier to try to get in, so that those tournaments aren't the same people again and again. It gets, it gets rather stagnant, right? Otherwise, so Helseth over the last couple of months, if not maybe the last year, has been really trying to champion the cause of PvP, to try and make it. Ever since the last time they won the championship, he's really been trying to, he streams a lot more, and he tries to teach people maybe what they're doing wrong or whatever. He's trying to expand it as much as he can. And Syndranir as well, great player to watch play, very entertaining, so it should be pretty interesting to see the turnout and everything.
Yeah. The casting's gonna be interesting because yeah, but yeah, I'm interested to see what kind of players come out for this and see what they can do, what comps they play, anything out of meta that could work out. I mean, it's all interesting stuff. So we'll see how the tournament goes, and even if they may not have they may have surplus rewards for another tournament later down the line too, so that's pretty good as well.
Yeah.
I need an NA one though.
I was say, and that is the only downside, at least for an NA player, is that it is an EU-based tournament, and they do say NA could probably enter. They would probably need an EU account, which you're probably going to run into ping issues, which usually isn't the best to have for PvP.
Yeah.
I guess it depends on where you are and what class you're playing. On EU, I have about 130 ping, give or take. So that's not terrible, but I might not want to be playing a thief with 130 ping versus my normal ping, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it depends on, what kind of class you're playing, but you could probably do okay. The problem, I guess, runs into it's likely that you probably wouldn't have access to Heart of Thorns and to the elite specs. And so then if you're going to make a free account and so forth on EU and you're a North American player, either you're going to buy Heart of Thorns, which I think most people probably wouldn't do just for a one-off tournament, or they're going to try and come up with a spec that doesn't use the Heart of Thorns stuff, right?
Yeah. There are some that work. I know some a Necro one, a Guardian one. I'm not sure. I saw Wilson playing Hambo, regular Warrior Hambo today. So if you're good at it, it could work. But yeah, I probably won't. Generally, you probably want a Hearthorns account.
Yeah.
Would be interesting if there was like a solid 5 team that didn't use any of the elite specializations and see how far they got. But yeah, it would be pretty risky. But I mean, you kind of like what they always say: you get what you pay for. If you're putting, using a free account and trying to go after 10,000 gold, 8,000 gems, whatever, you're more at a risk than the people that have all the tools at their disposal.
Yeah.
But any final thoughts on the tournament of Groucharoo? I just like saying
I
that.
wish them luck. I hope it's really successful for them. I hope they get a large crowd out there and people interested in pursuing it.
Yeah,
My
definitely.
sentiments.
Definitely, I can't wait to hear the results in 2 weeks. Yeah, so we'll definitely talk about it then.
Yeah.
You probably, when you're playing that, you're probably good at PvP. You're probably at legendary status. Other legendary news was out there, not of PvP, unfortunately, but more of the recipe update. So apparently, the 3rd tier of future legendaries, and that's the process of creating the actual precursor, are getting an update. And it will be using a visionary inscription, which is crafted from a visionary crystal and legendary inscription. And they did say that Eureka and Shushadu, which are the most recent legendaries, are going to be changed over to this to match the update. So
Yeah.
if you want to
In other
get
words,
it
it's
in
going to
the
become more expensive to make a Eureka and Shushadu than it is currently. So
yes, so if you want to get it, hurry. But I mean, it's certainly not going to be unobtainable, but it's going to be more.
I did it
Yeah.
yesterday.
you did it
Thing is-
yesterday?
I did it yesterday. I had the precursor for Eureka done. I was
Oh my
on
God.
the precursor for Shushadu, and I'm like, oh, okay, I'm gonna do this now because I know the visionary inscription. It says crafted from a visionary crystal and legendary inscription. It does not say the other 2 things you could possibly need, which will probably be ascended mats that take 20 days to make. So I am not going to go through that. And
Yeah.
I just decided to go for it one shot.
So you just made 2 legendaries this week, huh? Slow week. Man, I'm always. It's funny because I've been on, and don't get me wrong, I could definitely make more if I put more effort into it, but I basically make 1 legendary a year. Because I do the process, and it's just like, okay, I'm kind of done with that for a while, I think Age made like 6 of them last year, and 2 this year so far, and we've just started. Oh my
Well,
gosh.
those are just the pre's and the gifts. It's not actually done yet. But
See,
I'll get there.
that's the thing. Like, I have 1 legendary. And I think I only made it because I like the Herald so much for Revenant, and I was like, well, I'm gonna use the Glint Legend. I was like, I have to be thematic. I was like, I gotta make Flame Seeker Prophecies, and because I already had the precursor from pre-hot, and I was just like sitting on. I was like, oh, I might sell it someday or something. But then I'm such a hoarder. I looked up all the stuff. I was like, I kind of have this made. I just need to combine all the stuff. So, and yeah, unfortunately, I'm a hoarder. But I usually like I'll have a friend that's like, oh, I need like 2 more of the, one of the leathers or something on cooldown. I'm like, I got 2 already. If you want to just send me the mats, I'll just, But yeah, I kind of agree with what like you guys are saying, what Chad is saying. It might use like the ascended materials that another, like I think Age said maybe another 20 days. I'd still like a way like in game if you did like a harder task or a chance to kind of reset
Yeah.
cooldowns like that.
That'd be nice. I would totally do that.
I'm going to try and get Eureka's pre-done before. My fear is that, so far they've had a pretty good track record of releasing a new legendary weapon per living story patch. So I almost kind of expect whenever the next Living Story patch is, that we're going to get a new weapon, and then of course they'll update the previous two, Eureka and Shushadu. So I'm going to try and make Eureka, but then I'm afraid of like, well, what if they come out with the sword, which I would really love a new legendary sword, and it's amazing, and now I've spent all my resources basically on Eureka or something, which is cool. Don't get me wrong, I think Eureka's amazing looking, but I don't really use Mace on Revenant, so.
Well, you could use it on Warrior too, but I don't know if you play Warrior. But
That's true.
I plan to make them all anyway, so it doesn't matter.
How many do you have now?
How many I have now?
Yeah. Yeah, get out the list.
Hope, Underwater Spear, Legendary PvP back piece. What was it? Twilight. I have what's it called? Nevermore. I have Chuka. So 7.
Jeez. And remember,
Crazy.
earlier he was just like, oh yeah, I just decided to make it in a day, the other one, whatever. How much stuff are you sitting on?
Well, I just bought all the mats. Really, I had to sell a lot of materials just to make it. I had to sell like 3 T6 stuff. I sold some other materials too. It's around 130-ish gold, and then I bought all the Mithril and Elderwood I needed to finish the Shushadu precursor, because that's all I really needed.
So you just have to make the precursor, because that's the part that's changing, right? It's it's that step that's changing the most. So that makes sense. Maybe that's not nearly. I mean, it's still bad because the steps leading up to it get rather expensive, but at least you're not making the full legendary to prepare yourself, I guess.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. I wasn't planning on doing that, but he's like, oh well.
Right.
In case it happens on Tuesday, it's not likely, but I just in case.
I imagine it's going to be a couple of weeks at least, but it's nice. ArenaNet's done this a couple of times in the past, so it's nice when they do give you a heads up about something like this, so that players can kind of prepare themselves, and they're not. I mean, there will still be a number of players who don't check or watch the podcast, which you should watch the podcasts.
Yeah, exactly. Support every podcast. Watch all of them.
All of them. That's right.
And you'll be able to tell because they're all the ones the inks are on.
But it's nice when they give you a heads up, just so those who do follow that can prepare themselves at least, so they're not stuck out in the cold.
Yeah, I missed the Gift of Battle one. That's the one thing that kind of irritated me when I found out the hard way. I'm like, oh, but I already had one in my bank. But I would have bought it more if I had known.
I think I bought 4 or 5 of them because I knew that was coming from note release, not from anything else. And I should have bought more. I think I could have bought maybe 1 more or something like that at the time, and I should have, but I didn't learn, I guess.
Yeah, they said on the forums too, but it's just like I never saw that post, which made me sad. But yeah, live and learn. And
reading chat, any speculation, what do you guys think is going to be the next weapon? I mean,
what was the last? Shield was the last one. I think it's going to be either sword or hammer. Actually,
I was going to say I'm thinking hammer, I'm
thinking longbow.
I think it's something two-handed.
I'm thinking longbow.
Yeah.
Because I was reading chat saying they're doubtful that the greatsword is going to be better than the Twilight Sunrise and Eternity. I'm like, yeah, at this point I think that's going to be the one that they go with silly. Because they kind of said that they were going to try to do a serious and silly one, because that the Eternity one's a high fantasy. I don't. It's nice looking. I don't know if you could top it insanity wise.
And I know some greatsword users are not going to be happy, but I kind of hope greatsword is one of the last ones they do, just because there's already 3 of them.
Yeah,
and don't get me wrong, I know those 3 kind of look the same. They're just recolored or reskinned or whatever, but still, there's already 3 greatswords.
What if you fuse Eternity with the new greatsword? to make another great song.
That would make people so angry.
Amazing.
At what point do we just get Voltron? I think that's what Age is asking.
That'd be so cool.
But you just get a
I'm
mech?
thinking about- Oh, I need to make Sunrise again. I didn't make Sunrise, but I sold it so I could buy Dawn and Dusk. But then I sold Dawn again so I could get something else for another legendary. It's a weird process I have, but
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the silly legendaries myself. It depends, I guess, because I do like the Unicorn Bow, especially with the effects that they've added to it now. So, but generally speaking, like Shushadu is not my preferred shield, let's just say.
it's gonna be my preferred shield.
I love it.
It's gonna trigger Fenris and Deos so much when I run around with them. It's been great.
And I do have Quip, so I have like the silly pistol, and I literally made it because it was cheap and it was annoying, so that's why I made it as legendary. But the new pistol, Hope, is just way better looking. So there's that.
It's true.
I could see Focus getting. A new one as well. I mean, I know that they just added new effects to the Rooster harp, but eventually, yeah.
I'm thinking. So okay, we had Nevermore. Well, we had a launch. Nevermore, Hope, Astralaria.
Yeah, so
and
that was the only 3 at launch, but
was 3.
And then we
Chuka, and then Chuka.
Okay, Chuka.
But that was after launch.
Okay, so we had a 2-hander, we had 1-hand, we had an offhand. Actually, no, we had technically a main hand or offhand. So 1-hander, and we had 2-hander. And yeah, it's possible we could get Focus now I think about it.
I'm not gonna lie. When I was reading Netco's comment of they love Shushadu, just don't play anything with shield, made me respect, like, maybe if I made the Shushadu shield, I'd have to play Inji, because he throws the shield. I could just imagine whipping that out in the, like, there you go. I hope they add an animation, you just hear, like, the Doppler effect of, like, a scream, like, yeah, yeah.
I know that Droyer loves Shushadu, but he likes it for the effect, not necessarily the shield. Like, he likes the big explosion that happens when you equip it or whatever.
Yeah.
And the effect is cool. Don't get me wrong. It is funny to see like Revenants have a shield throw. They throw the shield and you just see the spin. It looks like a turtle top almost. It's spinning away from you. It's funny.
I want it more now. No. I'll make other. I guess I'll go back to legendary grind. It's okay. I don't need a life.
I still haven't finished my fractal back piece.
Me neither.
I had PvP and fractal, and it's like I can make one of them. Which one do I make? So I made the PvP one.
I need the T6 to finish that.
It's just it's T6 and Clovers for me is what stops me from completing that, really.
Yeah.
So.
We'll get there.
Well, while they get their shopping list for in-game, let's talk about possible shopping lists for out-of-game. And once again, thank you to Dolphy.net. Check out Dolphy.net so you can spend your gems more wisely. Let's first look at some of the new stuff that's coming out. And first up, we have the Celestial Rooster Harvesting Tool, which is 1,000 gems. It is an infinite gathering tool for plants, but you do have to trade it between your characters, but it will not break. You don't have to worry, but like I said, you do have to put it in a bank or a shared inventory slot. And as you can see here, it spawns a celestial rooster that will gather it, and interestingly enough, it varies in size. It's kind of random on that. Even the harvesting pick has RNG. Like, did we get any posts like that yet? Like,
No, I haven't seen anything like that.
That's
It's
kind of
It's interesting that I don't know how closely people follow the speed of the harvesting tools, but she's doing the point animation, which is also used on a number of the other infinite gathering tools, and they tend to be the slower gatherers. Where if you have a sickle-looking one like the South Sun, where you sweep it, that's the faster gathering tool. It's faster than even when you bend down to saw the harvest. So
yeah, I looked out because I think that was the first one that came out, and I was like, yeah, that's why I bought it. Because it was quicker.
It's cool looking though. Like I like this effect. The chicken explodes and feathers are everywhere.
Disappears into like a puff of feathers.
Yeah.
I'm wondering
and
if the resizing is intentional. I'm actually wondering. That's a cool thing to have. I was just wondering.
Yeah, it's maybe going forward. We'll see this going forward, but I feel like this is sort of like the Jack in the Box gathering tool, which is a point as well. There's no unifying theme for the gathering tool with that, right? So right now this is like a one-off, but how cool would it be if next year they came out with a pickaxe that was whatever the next animal is for the new year? It would be cool if they continue with this theme at least.
Yeah, and it seems like at one point they played catch up with that. Like they brought out the molten other gathering tools.
Right,
So
they
yeah,
did.
definitely not out of the norm that they would go back and complete the theme. I don't want a full set of the Jack in the Box ones. That'd just be creepy.
I feel bad because I have the Jack in the Box, but it doesn't match any of the other tools. You know what I mean?
I'm right there with you. I was gonna say I have that as my second set, and I'm just like I really don't want it on any of my characters. But like at the time, I didn't know, we were gonna have so many options. Like,
yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I was like, oh, because it's like the same size as my Assurance, so it's kind of even more creepy. But yeah, let us also we have new is dye options. So the solar and lunar dye kits, you can get 1 for 125 gems, 5 for 500 gems, and 25 for 2500 gems.
I can't do it. I can't. I'll be Malthanis. Yeah.
So I'm a big die collector, so I have all of these. I buy them off the trading post though. I haven't bought the actual die kits in a long time. It's too RNG for me. I mean, you're asking people to spend gems on a die kit, and then you have a chance to get a new one, but more than likely you're gonna get some other one, So it wasn't cheap, especially glossy black. Anytime they introduce a black or like a bright white, forget about it. It's expensive. But I like the glossy black. It has sort of a mirror kind of finish to it. Nice looking. But
I
it
just
must have been
enough
horrible when
colors.
those shadow dyes came out for you then, because all those were expensive.
yeah.
Got mine for free.
Ooh.
That was such
Definitely
a good
sounds like that's not the first time Inks has heard that from Age.
Yeah.
Well, actually, Inks was around for it, but it was Aaron actually who was around. Actually, I think you were there too, Dale. Oh, when they were giving away one die for free in Gemstore.
Oh
you
yeah,
told me about it. It's like, oh, let's see what I got, and I just started laughing hysterically as I got Shadow Abyss.
Hey, didn't you do that during the after show or during the show or something? Like,
I don't
because you were like,
remember.
oh, we can get one for free. Okay, I'll log in, and we were like, really?
Yeah.
But yeah,
Good
that's.
times.
Now I even hate you. I forgot about that. Now I have a reason to hate you even more. But yeah, like Ink said, if you do buy this through the Gemstore, it's not like a guaranteed from those. It's a pool of common, the dyes you can easily get in game, and you have a chance. So I think we've said this before. Yeah, there are tradables, so of course you're going to pay some in-game gold for it, but it will be a 100% chance of getting it that way rather than risking. So
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a difficult when you think about it. Like, how can you improve the system? Well, the easiest way to improve it is to just have a pool of 6 dies that are still tradable in the trading post, and if I spend whatever it is for one die kit, I'm going to get one of the new dies. That would be incredible for players. The problem comes in, though, that means that when you put the dies on the trading post, they become almost worthless. And so you just wait for people to put them on the trading post because the gold to gems ratio is way more money than they would probably be worth on the trading post. And I think that's the kind of balancing acts and questions Arena has to ask themselves about things like this, I think maybe the die pool should be smaller, or even then I wouldn't buy it because you're playing in the roulette wheel with trying to get a new color when all you want is the new color. This kind of item is difficult,
How about account bound but guaranteed?
Right, so then when you get a double, what do you do? Because then if people bought, let's say they bought 5 dies and they got 3 doubles, they wouldn't be too happy about getting 3 doubles, right? Unless you buy it and then it lets you just pick from a list, but then you're not selling. If you're ArenaNet, you're not selling as many from the business perspective, right?
I'm wondering if they ever do a revamp of that system, because I mean they kind of did with the Black Lion chest, where when we have those specialty items, if you get a double, it refunds you, but there's nothing to really refund here unless they revamp the system, which, for better or worse, that might be a good thing.
Unless they give you Black Lion keys and then they can feed into chests.
Actually, it's not. Well, actually, if they gave you one guaranteed oh no, they can't do that, could they? Because that would have to replace the envelope.
What they could do, I suppose, is one possible solution, maybe not the best solution, but if you got a double, it would give you a die claim ticket. And then by using that die claim ticket, it would open up a panel just like the minis, which we'll talk about in a little bit, and then you can choose from a seasonal selection of rare dies or something.
I could accept that.
Yeah.
Like I said, I don't know if that's the best solution, but that's a solution to, that sort of...
Or like a piece
it would
die
definitely,
ticket.
even though I have all the dies currently, it would definitely make me want to take a chance on, because at least I'm going to get one of the new dies. Even if it's a double, then I can pick something else as well, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, maybe they're looking to changing that system. Who knows? But only the future can tell us. But let us talk about some of the returning items to the Gemstore for the Lunar New Year. We have the the red envelope mail carrier, which is not pictured there, for 480 gems, 20% off. The Imperial outfit that you can see right there for 560 gems, which is 20% off. And they've actually added a couple things to the Black Lion chest, which will kind of lead us into the other stuff. You can see there the miniature ram, the mini tiger, the mini puppy, the mini golden pig, and the mini red panda. And I just realized I didn't put the mini tiger in. Well, there you go. But you can get those for 1 Black Lion miniature claim ticket, which works kind of the same way as Black Lion chest tickets, which you might be more familiar with if you've played the game for a more extended period of time. But also the Silver-Fed Salvage-O-Matic for 500 gems, and that's only till next week. So if you're looking for an unlimited salvage kit, which I think that Silver-Fed, doesn't that do Master Tier, if I'm not mistaken?
Yes, I believe so.
And it charges you, I think it's like somewhere around 90 something copper. It's similar to the copper fed Salvage-O-Matic, just like I said, a higher tier, and it costs you a little bit more for each use, but it kind of balances out to roughly how you would spend for a kit of that quality. So it's just a nice convenience item.
60
I know.
copper for the breakdown. It used to be a silver a long while
Okay.
ago, and they changed it.
So as long as you have money, you can use it.
Yes. Which, I think is definitely fair. I mean, it kind of balances out close to. It's definitely for a convenience factor, which is really what the Gemstore was put in place for. So, I know I love my
Probably
copper-fed
should get
salvagomatic, but
I probably should get one. I don't know.
I didn't buy one right. I do have a silver fed that I bought maybe last year. I didn't buy it when it first came out because I had a bunch of the Mystic Salvage kits left, which is technically a cheaper use if you have the materials for that. But eventually I went out and bought it out of convenience, and I use my Mystic Forge Stones for other things. But
yeah, it's
a convenience item. I don't know that, for most convenience items, you're not really saving money necessarily. It just makes life a little bit easier, I guess.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's not trying to be pay to win where, oh,
Right.
for me buying this, like me buying the gathering tools, I'm going to be able to save up for a legendary. Yeah, in about 500 years. Like,
Yeah,
No.
yeah.
but yeah, like you can get those mini pets in the black line chests, and I think, I don't know if all of these, but I know a lot of them were originally in the Gemstore for a flat out price. And
Yeah, all
I can
of them
definitely,
were- yep.
okay, all of them. I can definitely recommend the mini golden pig. That one's awesome. Love my little mini golden pig.
I really wish that I would have just waited and bought these for tickets rather than.
Yeah,
Oh well.
I kind of had that feeling
I'll-
too, but I was like, I still like the pig. I'm good.
Oh, of course. Yeah, absolutely.
I'll stick with my llama mini. I don't really use minis, but if I do have to, I'd stick with my llama. I'm trying to make that elegant llama there. The monocle,
Yeah.
top hat, and the bow.
Dapper.
Dapper indeed.
Looking fancy with the new look.
I do like the mini claim ticket idea. So like Winter's Day, going back a little bit, they had the mini Infinirarium, which had been haunting me since the very first Winter's Day. I'd opened a ton of those, like the whatever the gifts were that had a chance at those, and I had all of the minis but him, and then they never brought him back for years. So you could finally get him for a claim ticket and or a wardrobe unlock, but obviously I used the claim ticket, so could not be happier about that. They put a lot of the Gemstore minis on a seasonal rotation now into these tickets, so like if you're missing a particular one, maybe save your tickets up until they bring back one that you want or is missing or something like that.
Yeah, I like that system. It's pretty nice. I like
Yeah.
the black chest, the black line chest overall. I know we talked about it before, but I think it's pretty solid in terms of giving you an incentive to actually buy keys to open chests and things like that. So.
I agree with Chad. I'd like to kind of see minis in the home instance instead of the cats, but maybe that's maybe
Oh,
the
how
cats
cool
is
would
just
that
showing
be?
proof of concept, like it can handle that many entities or something. I don't know, but
That would
maybe
be
it's
pretty
for
awesome,
something in the
actually, if
future.
you bought a mini pet and it just sat in your home instance until you were ready to like equip it or something. Like, can you imagine? I would have a million mini pets running around. It would be fantastic.
Maybe they'd set a limit and they could choose the ones you
No,
want.
no limits, Age. No limits.
He wants
I
him in a
need all
small
of them
pen.
running around.
He wants him in a small pen so he can jump into it and be like, ah.
A mini ball pit. Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh man.
And I have my like 15
that'd
Queen Jennas all running around together as a flock.
Oh dear lord.
And you're like, Logan, what are you
Oh my
doing in my
gosh.
instance? He's like, nothing. He just backs away slowly.
Can you imagine though? Like so like some of the cats have snowball fights, and then
What?
the cats have snowball fights. They literally throw snowballs where you can actually pick up a snowball that they have missed and throw it at the cats. Some of them just wander around and do nothing or leave a dead bird. And then the profession cats, the ones that you had to get with each profession, actually, so for example, the Necro cat, the cat you give to Necro, he fears the other cats. They'll be fighting each other, and the fear will go off, the little icon, and all the cats scatter. I believe I think the Guardian one has a bubble or something that he'll pop. So a number of the profession ones do profession-specific attacks on each other. They're in like a little group where they're fighting one another. Can you just imagine how awesome that would be with minis? Come on.
I would say as soon as you started talking about that and saying about like having all the Queen Jennas, I'd be hilarious if they would code that in. Like if you have multiple characters that have all these Queen Jennas, like I could just imagine like walking around a corner like in the Salma district, like in like kind of like where the like slum like bandits were in like the story part, like in like a dark alley. You just turn around, you just see like 8 Queen Jennas, like back away slowly.
Taking it even to like a lower level idea, I wouldn't even mind if there was some sort of, I don't know where it would be in your home instance because every home instance is different, but like a trophy rack.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe you can even put it in the Hall of Monuments, since that is still a thing in Guild Wars 2. Like in Guild Wars 1, you would put the minis out on like not a table, but you know, an area. You could scroll through a number of minis, and it would display so many. How awesome would that be if you could display your minis like in your home instance, somewhere?
I like that. I was in Guild Wars 1 with the Hall of Monuments. I kind of wish... I was kind of hoping that we would actually refurbish the Hall of Monuments at some point.
Right,
and then we could put all of our like achievements and things like that. You know,
well, that's for Guild Wars 3, right? That's how it's going to work, right?
Yep. There you go.
Yeah.
No, like, yeah, I like the idea of like having those pedestals, but I don't know if they're, you know, if they've abandoned or not trying to work on the home instances. But what if there was like guild hall decorations where it was like a pedestal, and you could have like maybe one of the guild, you have access to like one of the guildies can set their character, you know, like how you're saying, like it just puts the mini in there and people can kind of see it, and maybe that's how it's like, hey, this person won our like guild event or something, they can display their mini. And I know they have the placard things now. It's like they could, you know, do some pretty cool stuff, but if the tech's there, I don't.
And I've seen that pop up on Reddit a couple of times now, where people want to be able to decorate their home instance like they can the guild hall.
Yes.
And in theory, that sounds like a great idea. It doesn't. It sounds like something they could definitely do. That would be a great selling point for an expansion. I just wonder about the cats that they now have littered all over the home instance. Like, what do you do with those cats now, right?
Well, it's all your guys' fault for getting those cats. I'm free and clear. I was like, I don't want cats in my home instance. So there you go.
I would, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, and it would actually promote scribing too if it used scribing.
Big time. Like, I don't know exactly how that system would work, but if you built something in the guild hall, if you scribed something for your guild, it could add 1 to the guild and 1 to your like home instance collection, right? And so that way, not only are you helping your guild by creating decorations, but you're also helping yourself, which of course is important to people, and you're progressing your character's collection for your home instance.
Yeah, I would like to see a 1-for-1 thing, because you never want it to be a situation, because a lot of stuff does get stored, like decorations that make other decorations get stored in the guild, you know, panel. You don't want someone to be like, oh, I'll join your guild. Oh, I have access to all this. Well, I'm gonna just clean you guys out, like blah blah blah. And it's like, oh, there's all my stuff. It's all mine now.
Right.
Like, so I definitely like the 1-for-1 thing. So, but
if you don't do a 1-for-1 situation and you put it into the player's choice of, do I support my guild or do I support myself, players will 99% of the time always choose themselves. You know what I mean? So if it becomes a situation where, hey, it's Lunar New Year and I can donate luck for lanterns, do I give that to my guild or do I just put it in my home instance and put lanterns everywhere? And some people will split it 50-50 and that kind of thing, but there will be a number of people who are like, you know what, sorry guild, I don't have any luck. I don't know what to tell you. I put it all in my home instance.
I was gonna say, I just imagine
So
them saying that in their home instance with the, just like lanterns everywhere. Like, I just didn't get any luck this year. It's weird.
yep. It's weird. I don't have any luck. I just made a throne of lanterns. I don't know what to tell you.
Throne of lanterns. I just imagine that was pretty good.
I'll say, like most
Yeah.
excellent hat is saying, I could see that being a bug. Like, if they ever implement that thing, like the first bug, they all scream like the princess dolls. It's like, no, get the minis out of here.
I missed that tonic.
No.
I think they took it away from the tonic. I kind
Ugh.
of miss that. I like that.
The little
I
scream.
like that.
That was
I like
that was
trolling
horrible because
sometimes.
for the longest time that was like the best one for like a large Norn to use a jumping puzzle for, and then it was like you make one jump and it has like a little bit of fall. It was like, that's like, oh no, I gotta find something else. Luckily, box of chocolates, which Valentine's Day is hopefully coming around, and definitely pick those up.
Yeah.
Love that. But we were talking about the Black Line chests and like kind of their revamp of their system. Well, they did change out the Black Line chest drops for this season, and you can see the list there. And on the sides, they've now put in the what is it? The Phoenix weapons and the Crimson weapons there.
Crimson Lion. Yep.
Yeah, the Crimson Line, and you can see them going through there. Once again, thank you, Dolphy, for always getting the surplus gallery of every weapon possible, so you can look fashionably awesome. And just so you guys know, if you haven't really done anything with Black Line chests, these are the wardrobe unlocks. Well, actually, these are a rare chance out of them. So, actually, I just talked myself out of explaining the whole other system. So, but yeah, so
Yes.
you have a chance of getting those. I mean, do you guys already have them, or like for me, I think I might have gone after one or two of the Crimson Lion ones, but
Yeah, I think I have one Phoenix skin when they were originally released, and I have one Crimson Lion skin when they were originally released, and that's all I have. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think that I think a number of the weapons are great looking, especially the Phoenix set, the super rare set in this category. I would love to have more of them, but I opened some chests and I did not get any, so there's that.
mm-hmm.
I think I got the Phoenix shield first time around, but I think I sold it, so I don't have any.
Yeah, I mean the Phoenix weapons are worth quite a bit. We've seen this in the past with the other ones. The good news is, and they'll stay expensive for the most part, but they will lower their price a little bit. So those people out there who play the trading post, or maybe they hunt these skins on the trading post, you'll save yourselves, especially the Crimson Lion skins, I imagine will come down in value quite a bit. It's likely you'll be able to pick some of these up at a discounted price for the next however long this is available.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so definitely keep your eye on the trading post, or if you get lucky and get it out of a Black Line chest, because you might be trying to farm Black Line chests and keys, because you might be going after some of the minis just in case they ever implement that feature. But you do have a chance during the Lunar New Year that each Black Line chest, when you open it, will have a Divine Lucky envelope that has a chance to drop the mini Celestial Rooster, which you can see there. And so it sounds like, Inks, you go after minis a lot more than I do. So how hard have you been hitting this?
So I have the Rooster. I got pretty lucky, I would say. I opened 33 chests. He was in the 32nd. So I was lucky I didn't have to buy any more. But the first 25 I opened, of course, I didn't see him at all. I didn't even see any uncommon drops. My general luck for this series of Black Line chests wasn't very good. I had pretty good luck at Winter's Day, not so much this time around. But I know some people who had really good luck in that they opened like one or two and got the chicken. And then I know some other people who opened like 100 chests until they finally got one. So, I mean, RNG is RNG. We know that that's especially true for Black Lion chests. I do feel like because there's only 2 slots with that 10% or maybe less than 10% chance of that uncommon or better slot, that there's a whole discussion that can be had there anyway, but I feel like the drop rate should be increased maybe a little bit, because I feel like it's a little bit low. You know, I've been doing this every month since the revamp, where I open at least 25 chests, and I'm starting to get a better picture every month on what the drop rates really kind of look like for each category and each chance. And I think, especially because there's only 2 slots most of the time, and those are usually common, that they should increase the drop rate on the uncommon or better, just a little bit. I feel like chests are way better than they used to be, but they're still not quite at that tier where people are super attracted to them just yet. You know, It is a cool mini. It's absolutely cool, and I like it a lot. I'm lucky and I'm glad that I have it, but I don't hunt minis as much as I used to.
So you gotta put in that mini pet pin for your home instance, and you'll get Inks back on the bandwagon for.
Oh my gosh, it's for a long time. I think myself and a bunch of people held out hope for Polymach.
Yeah.
And if we ever get Polymach, I just can't see them really tying it directly to the mini system. There's just too many minis anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And most of them are Gemstore, or a lot of them are Gemstore. So.
Yeah, I was gonna say, when you were talking about people mad on Reddit. Yeah, I was gonna say, when you were talking about the cats in your home instance playing, I was like, oh, it's a sign of Polymach. No, probably not.
Yeah. No.
But maybe cat Polymach. Well, we do have the cat golem, so that's all in the realm of Asuran. So there we go. There's the link for Reddit. But
yeah, if they had mini battles, then minis would be way more attractive to people. They would be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Just like if we had a tonics tab or toolbox or something, tonics would be way more attractive to people, right?
Yeah.
That's another topic.
Oh yeah, but maybe we'll have that as an after show topic or something, because you're getting into the realm of I love more things like the water balloon bucket. Basically shared bundle things, but yeah, let's definitely save that for after show, because geez, we'd probably have like a 3-hour podcast. But yeah, it looks like that is it for this week. And Age, where can you be found?
Twitch or YouTube at Age Night Road. I'm 48 points away from gold. I'm higher than Tavik and Malthanis, so no one can judge me, damn it. Yeah, I'll try to get gold soon there.
Awesome. And Inks, where can you be found?
You guys can find me over on Twitter at MMOinks, or on YouTube, Twitch as well, and of course I'm on a number of podcasts, guest starring here today. But Tea Time on Sundays, and Kit the Traveler has a podcast on Thursdays now. Guild Gab only really happens when there's a big living story patch, so that's kind of, hit and miss.
Awesome. And you can find me at simply_Dale on Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube. If you're popping at the very end, we do put these up on YouTube. Just search Talking Skritt. It's usually the first one that pops up. That goes up on Sundays at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. Since Malthanis is not here, I'll do his little spiel of, if you want to watch someone progress through PvP, he does 0 to Hero on Wednesdays, I believe, at like 7 to 8 p.m. Eastern time. So definitely check that out if you want to show support, give ideas, tips, thoughts. I know he's progressed a lot more than I have. Like Age said, he's been beating Age for a long time, and Age is our PvPer. So
I haven't been playing. There is a difference.
Yeah, it sounds like there is a difference. A lot more excuses. Oh.
1v1 me. Come on. Right
yeah.
now.
I could tell you. Can we bet on it? Because I think I'll make some money, because I think you'll win.
Me too.
But yeah, thank you everyone for coming out, and we'll see everybody next time. Bye.